Welcome to the Women of Ambition podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Calder-Hume. Today I am interviewing Stacey Bacon.
Hi there.
Thanks so much for talking with us today. So I'm doing this podcast because I find myself wanting to be ambitious and needing more role models or people I can bounce ideas off from, but mostly people that I can just learn from. And so today I would just love to talk to you about your ambitions and what that looks like for you, and the things that are important to you and the things that you're letting go of at this stage in your life. So yeah, let's do that today.
Sounds good.
So to start off, do you consider yourself an ambitious woman?
I love this question. And part of the reason that I said yes to this is because I have never viewed myself as an ambitious woman. And so I loved that you reached out to me and I'm like, am I ambitious? I think it's probably the last word that I would use to describe myself. But I am learning, like looking back on my life, I've had ambitious moments and things that I'm passionate about. And I'm certainly coming into that. And I feel much more ambitious now as I've gotten older and more confident, and just kind of learning that I can do a whole lot more than I thought I could.
How awesome. I love that. I think ambition can sometimes come across as this dirty word, especially for women. And it just doesn't need to be, because that's what a lot of us are, even if we don't self-identify that way.
So, absolutely.
Great. So what does that look like for you in your life right now? What does your ambition look like?
Well, I am married to someone who is incredibly ambitious, very motivated, probably the most disciplined person that I've ever met. And he has pushed me to find that passion and to find fulfillment. And so it's been a journey of me just kind of, I think, envisioning what I want my life to look like, and what are the things that bring me joy? What are the things that make me feel empowered and confident? And what am I doing to feel that way and to reach those things and to obtain more self-fulfillment? And so for me, it has been, instead of like saying something sounds nice or fun, I just do it. And I just jump in and I try it. And sometimes it is a train wreck, and other times it's an amazing learning experience. And it always brings me confidence and joy just because I tried it. And I feel so happy that I'm willing to just step in and do it, rather than how I was in the past, which was, I don't think that's for me. I'm not good enough. I'm not, whatever. So for me, it's just, instead of just talking about it, actually doing it.
That's great.
So what are some of those things you've tried? I imagine some have been successes, some have been failures. If you're just kind of going out there and trying things out in the world, what do those look like for you?
Okay, so the first thing is health and fitness. That's something that I have struggled with for a very long time. And it's not something that I did in my youth. I was not taught to live a healthy and active lifestyle for just different reasons. And so I didn't really learn how to take care of my body. My husband is very health conscious and he works very hard on this. And so it's been something that's been a little intimidating to me and frustrating. But this last year, so at the beginning of 2020, I made the commitment to do 100 days of no sugar and 100 days of working out every single day without a break. And it was incredible. And it changed me. I'm to the point now where if I don't work out, it's not like, I just feel so sad and I miss it. And so going from doing it occasionally and not really being passionate to now like feeling that's a part of my self-care and something that actually brings me a lot of peace and joy. It helps me be more patient and kind to my children. Just learning how to move my body and just making those small changes has been huge. So that's something that was big for me, and it has carried through. And realizing that goal felt amazing. So that was the first. And then the other, I have I've always loved to cook and bake. I've been taking pictures of food. I'm not a photographer by any means, but I've always loved doing it and sharing it with others. And I would say for the last like 6 or 7 years, I have thought about, oh gosh, it would be fun to start a blog or to maybe do an Instagram account that is dedicated to this, or start, maybe catering or selling my goods to people. And there was always like, it was just talk. I would think about it. I would dream about it. And it seemed so exciting and fun, but I would talk myself out of it. I would compare myself to others. I would say, you know what, I don't have anything new or exciting to offer. And then I would look at people who are doing something that seemed so out of my ability. And I'm like, there's all these people who are so much more talented or just better suited. They have better photography and, just all the things, the comparison. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it because one of my biggest fears or hangups is being a failure and not being good at something, or maybe being criticized for not being good at it. And so I've just talked myself out of it. And Casey, for years, my husband, for those of you who don't know me, my husband's name is Casey. He would say, you need to find that thing. And he would say, find it and make money doing it. And it always kind of bothered me. I'm like, well, why do I have to like make money? And I have a job. I'm a flight attendant and I love doing that. I'm like, I have a job and I have 2 kids and I don't need to like find something and make money. It bothered me. But as my kids have gotten older and they're both reaching school, well, my 9-year-old's in school, but my 4-year-old will be going to kindergarten like full day next year. And I'm like, what am I going to do when my kids are in school all day? And so that kind of got the wheels turning. And I'm like, I actually really do want to do something more. And I remember having a conversation with Casey and he asked me like what my goals and dreams were. Where did I see myself in 5 years? And it was really hard for me to answer those questions. And it was embarrassing and it was vulnerable. And so he has been so helpful in me just like tapping into that. And so just this past October, I saw something as an opportunity. And instead of like overanalyzing and thinking so much into it, I just said, I'm going to do this. And I actually brought it up to Casey and he's like, that's a great idea. And I was with a bunch of women the night before and I kind of brought it up to them and they were like cheering me on. And that was the push I needed. And so I went, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's all I needed. Like I had it within me, but I like hearing and having that validation from others that I could do it and that they believed in me was that push. And so I went for it and it's been incredible because I'm doing something that I love. I'm getting to be creative. And there's been some really hard, stressful aspects of it, frustrating that make me wonder if it's worth it. But I've been so grateful for the opportunity. And it's given me so much confidence. And it's given me like this spark of what else could I be doing?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a inertia of creativity, if you will.
Absolutely.
That's so great. So tell us about, did you contact bakers and like offer samples or like, how did you go about doing that and just making it happen for you?
So the way I found this opportunity, a friend of a friend I heard was opening a soda shop. We have nothing like that out here in Wisconsin.
Oh, got it. Yeah. That's very popular in Utah. Super popular.
So big. And we've joked about it and we're like, well, everybody likes to drink in Wisconsin. They wouldn't want a soda shop. That wouldn't make any sense to them. But she loved it so much. And she kind of incorporated, it's like a little coffee shop, but craft sodas. And this little light went off in my head. I'm like, she is going to need baked goods for her soda shop. If she wants to follow the model in Utah, like it's all about the baked goods. People love the soda, but they go for the cookies and the,
sugar cookies. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I can do that. I'm good at that. I make delicious treats. People have been like, not to toot my own horn, but I know I'm good at that and I make delicious things. And so I bounced it off Casey and I'm like, I think I'm just going to contact her and say, hey, would you be willing to try my stuff? Like I'm a baker. I'm self-taught. I don't have a commercial license, so we'd kind of have to figure that out. but can I bring some samples by? So I made up some sugar cookies and some Rice Krispie treats. And just because that's kind of what she asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And I took them by her shop and she tasted them and was like, that's it. You're our sugar cookie baker. And then it led to me doing a couple of other things. And I was like, oh, she said yes. Now what? And I kind of had to figure that out. And it's been really fun, just kind of working together, and it's been growing. And I now have the opportunity to create a cookie of the month that is completely my recipe that I develop. And it's been incredible.
That is so great. I love that, like, this network of women not only like got you amped, but that you knew somebody who was trying something new and you were able to contact them and kind of do it together in a way. That's so cool.
Absolutely.
I love that. Have you had any moments of doubt, or I know stressful moments, but any like imposter syndrome or any of that? How have you handled those moments?
Oh, yes. I have learned through this process. I am someone who I think has always kind of relied on validation and being told, like, it's almost like I need this reassurance that what I'm doing is good. And there hasn't been a lot of that. I mean, there's been people who say they love my stuff, and I believe that. I know that people do, but I am always like second guessing and wondering if, is this even worth it? Is this something that is valuable for both of us? Is this, and it's been tricky because they're a new business and they don't really know much about baking, and just figuring out the logistics of that and the pay and the time that I'm going to spend there, and like inventory, like all these business aspects that I didn't even think about. I just kind of jumped into it, like, let's do this. And figuring it out, it makes me think, what was I thinking? Why am I doing this? Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's been really great because I've learned to open my mouth. My communication has improved greatly. I've been able to be really assertive and ask for the things that I need, where in the past, I'm such a people pleaser. I'm all about, like, I don't want to get into tense conversations. I avoid confrontation like the plague. And there have been confrontational moments that I've had to, like, be a grown up and put on my business pants and say, okay, this isn't working for me. This is what I'd like to see. And man, it's given me so much confidence. And it's actually helped in other areas of my life, being able to just say, oh, it's actually not that scary. It's not that bad. People do respect me, and they'll listen, and we can work it out. So that's been incredible. But so much doubt and like thinking, I don't know about this. Was this the right move? And I always go back to how it makes me feel and the joy that it's bringing me while I'm doing it, and what a great learning opportunity it is. It may not be something that I do for a long time, but it's a stepping stone to something different. And I love that.
That's so great. I love that you just moved into action, and it's created all these learning opportunities. And it sounds like you're even validating yourself more, maybe more opportunities to see what you are actually able to contribute. And it's good stuff. Yeah, it's wonderful. So you are obviously very busy. You have a job and 2 kids and a marriage, and you have found space to start this part of your business. What have you done to make that work? What have you dropped out of your life? How are you doing that?
The first thing, it couldn't have come at a worse time, to be honest with you. I just got a new calling in church that is very time consuming. And but it also, Casey and I were talking about this, it also came at a perfect time because of our circumstance of working from home, and my job as a flight attendant, I'm only working once a week typically. And so it just kind of lined up that even though I'm super busy, I could make this work. One of the things that I established from the very beginning is what I wanted it to look like for me. And that was pretty empowering to say, I really want to do this for you, but here are my stipulations. Like, I can only bake in the evenings after my kids have gone to bed. I wasn't willing to do it during the day and be away from them. Casey is busy during the day, and he can't be with the kids, and they're doing school virtually. And so, and I said, and I don't I want this to be fairly part-time for now. As my kids get older and are in school and I have more time, I can offer more time. But I really want it to be a very part-time situation. This is kind of what I want it to look like. And it's become a little busier than I wanted it to be. But what I've done is, I just coordinate with Casey, and he does dinner that night and puts the kids to bed. Or I have a friend watch Sadie for a couple of hours while I run into the store and do inventory or like a last minute baking thing that they need me to do. And so I've just kind of learned to think quickly on my feet, but also to be firm about what I'm willing to do. I also told them that I wasn't willing to work on Sundays. They're open on Sunday. And because this friend knows my other friend that is a member of my faith, she was like, "Oh yeah, you don't work on Sundays because of your religion, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's sort of related to that, but it's also a family day for us. And it's just something that I've chosen to do. So if that's not going to work for you, I respect that." But they were so respectful and great about it. So being able to like set those boundaries from the very beginning helped me like make it happen. And just as far as like what I've let go of, I feel like I've just let go of free time, like that time. And so that might mean a little less sleep because I still want to hang out and spend time with Casey at night or watch a show to unwind or whatever. So maybe a little less sleep, maybe a little less downtime. But because I'm doing something that's very fulfilling, I feel like it's filling up that bucket. And honestly, when I go to work as a flight attendant, that's kind of like my downtime. I'm away. I'm like not working very hard. I get a little break from my family and I just kind of get to be alone, and it's very recharging. So that's it's been good. It's been a crazy balance, but it works.
That's great. So which of those are your like staples? Like what are your have to do's in order to live the life that you live?
I think the most important thing is that my family does not feel second seat to anything else that I'm doing. But they also it's very cute how much my husband and kids support me and love, they think it's so cool that I'm a baker for this little shop that they do. And they'll tell friends and, "Oh, my mom is a baker." And it's just cute how much they support me. So I don't think that's like a huge problem. So I'm thinking my musts are, I need to make sure that I have time for my family. I need to make sure that I'm not creating so much stress that it's not enjoyable for me. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky because I have such a supportive and helpful spouse, and him working at home has been a really good thing. Like the joys of pandemic, like the positive things. Yeah. I think that's made it more possible for us to kind of like work together as a team and make that happen. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm answering that very well.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any pushback from anyone as you've shared your new endeavor?
Not at all. That is something I've just only gotten good feedback and so much support. I feel very grateful for the support that I've had, and no pushback at all. Just like encouragement and praise. And it just makes me feel on top of the world because it's going really well and it's been nothing but positive.
That's awesome. So looking forward to other women who have big ideas that they want to make happen. What's your advice? Do you have any practices you suggest they do? It sounds like you did some with Casey over the years that have maybe accumulated to where you're at. So what's your advice?
So something that Casey and I do together, we call it a gratitude practice, or it's kind of like affirmations and things that we do each day. It's a practice that he learned through Tony Robbins. He's always listening to self-help and self-improvement. And it's so incredible. And it rubs off on me. Like I have to give him a lot of the credit because he's just incredible. But something he learned was this daily ritual. I really do believe it's all about rituals, whether that's meditation, whether that's starting your morning off with like writing down your list of things you want to do or your accomplishments or your gratitude for the day. So what Casey does and what he has taught me, I don't do it as often as him, but he starts his day with a walk. It's freezing in Wisconsin right now. So it looks a little different right now, but typically we'll get up in the morning and we go for a walk, and it starts off with some breathing exercises to kind of just get in tune with your body. And then you say out loud all the things that you are grateful for. So your gratitude. And then you talk about the things that you want to accomplish that day, and you put them out into the universe, and it feels really good saying them. And you make this list of things you want to do and you say it out loud. And then you say what you want to do in 5 years, like what you want, or 1 year, what you want to accomplish in the next year, what you want to accomplish in the next 5 years. And it is so powerful. First of all, you're getting up and you're moving your body, which gets your endorphins going. And it feels so good to be outside and in nature. Then you get home, and because you said these things out loud, and when Casey and I do it together, we're kind of like held accountable because we've said it out loud to each other as I go throughout my day. Oh, yes. But I love that. I feel like that's something that I like when I tell someone else what I want to accomplish, it keeps me accountable. And that's very motivating to me because I do not like letting people down. But like, as we go throughout our day and I maybe want to choose something else, I'm like, oh yeah, I said I was going to get this done. So instead of sitting down for 5 minutes and doing whatever, I'm going to take those 5 minutes and I'm going to finish that task that I said I would, or, I'm going to take that extra 20 minutes to work on whatever it is. And it's really empowering. And then at the end of the day, we kind of do like a check-in and an inventory of how it went and what we want to do better. And that has been it's vulnerable, but it's fantastic. And if you like doing that every day, having that ritual can be life-changing. And like I said, I'm not as consistent as Casey. And I notice I'm not as productive on the days that I don't do that. So having those rituals and, starting your day off with those positive things and the gratitude, and it's such a positive thing. There's no beating yourself up about it. I think that's a great way and a really good practice to help you feed your ambition and to be motivated to reach those goals, whatever they are.
I love that. It sounds like Casey is a really good partner. Like you make a good partnership together. What have you done to help your marriage and your friendship kind of come together to support one another?
Well, I think for a long time, Casey and I were in survival mode, and we kind of lost touch with kind of like just our relationship as a marriage. It was more like we're this family unit and we're working together to make things happen, but we had our separate roles and we weren't really connected to each other. And moving away from family and becoming becoming more aware of how much we needed to rely on each other, we realized that as a couple, we had some work to do. And so communicating and having those vulnerable conversations and him really like trying to reach inside of me and pull out what I was passionate about. I think I was lost in that trap of motherhood and, like kind of just, I had lost all my passion and desire and drive because I was just kind of, like I said, in that survival mode. And so taking that time to speak to one another about our dreams and our passions and kind of what we wanted, and then pushing each other to do and be better and to reach those goals has been really powerful and brought us closer. Sometimes it's very frustrating because to me, I see him and it comes so easily to him, or at least it seems like it does. And I struggle with it more, but he is so supporting and so supportive. And so like he doesn't put pressure on me. He's very understanding and patient. And it has made me look at him with these new eyes. Like I have someone who loves me so much that he wants me to like reach the stars, and he knows that I can. And that just has deepened my love for him. I'm like, yeah, he worries about me and he wants me to do and be better, but isn't that a beautiful thing? And it's brought us so much closer. And I've learned so much from him. And I think he's learned a lot from me too, just my vulnerability and my struggles. He's learned how to be more patient and to maybe be a little more gentle about the approach. And it's been good for us. I feel like the older you get, you're like, wow, the things that used to matter just don't anymore. And having that strong, solid relationship where you can be vulnerable and have those difficult conversations is actually a really empowering and good thing for a marriage.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing all of that. Do you have So just to close out, is there something that you have as your goal in life or your contribution to the world that you want to have contributed in your lifetime? Do you have like a big idea or a feeling or something like that is your contribution?
I mean, I don't know that I can pin it to one thing. Something that we work on teaching our children and that I want to be remembered for is I want to be that safe place. I want to be an advocate for others. I want people to feel loved, safe, and supported when they're with me. Like, oh, Stacey, she always made me feel heard and loved. And I want that for my children. I want them to feel that. I also want them to see that I'm willing to do things and fail and make mistakes, but just get back up and try again and do and be better. And to not be afraid of being vulnerable and open to others and put yourself out there. I feel like our world needs a lot more kindness and love. And I feel like that's something that I can give and do and show and be that example. So, I mean, there's no one set like goal that I have. I hope people remember me for my kindness and that they felt safe around me.
I love that. It really sounds like you're doing that with your family and you have this great support system and you have these goals and priorities that are all lining up to support that. So I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for talking with us today and answering all my questions. Is there anything else we should know before we head out?
I think the biggest thing that I want other women to know or to realize is I think sometimes we are our own biggest critic or stumbling block.
Yeah.
And so if you're sitting on an idea or, you're thinking about doing something, but you keep making excuses or you maybe don't feel like what you have to offer is good enough, get over that and just do it. Just take that action. Just take that first step. And you may crash and burn, but that's okay because you'll learn from it and you can figure out something else to do, or you can, get better at it. And so instead of dreaming and thinking about it like I did for so long, although I do feel like there's a place for that and it's important to build up to it, just do that thing you're wanting to do. Stop making excuses and just do it.
So what was it that pushed you from dreaming into action? Was that like for your pure force of will or faith? What did that for you?
Well, I think there were tiny seeds planted along the way and it was just that buildup. And I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, it was a leap of faith. Absolutely. But it was almost like, a light bulb went off. I heard about this opportunity and I just went for it, kind of without really even thinking about it. Like the night that I spoke to all those women and got pumped up, I composed the email that I was going to send to the woman. I read it to my husband that night and I hit send at like 1 a.m. because I'm like, I just need to do this. And then after I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What is she going to? I was just so nervous, but I also felt a lot of peace. Like you did the right thing. And I felt so empowered. So for me, I mean, it's years and years and years of buildup, but it just finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I can do this. Enough is enough. No more self-doubt. I'm just going to go for this. What's the worst that could happen? I could be where I am right now and not have anything be changed or different, or I can be doing something really exciting and new. So just go for it. Just do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
all of your knowledge and your vulnerability and sharing with us. And I think there's so much here that I can learn from and hopefully other people can too. So
Thanks,
thank you
Alyssa.
so much for talking with us today, Stacey. Talk
Absolutely.
to you
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. The Women of Ambition podcast is a Big Round Schoolhouse production, edited and hosted by me, Alyssa Calder-Hume. For show notes, please visit bigroundschoolhouse.com. To contact us or suggest an interviewee, email Alyssa at bigroundschoolhouse.com or message us on Instagram at Women of Ambition Podcast.